Yeah, I'm wonderful.
Good.
Sleep deprived, but good.
Probably.
Okay.
That tends to happen
Yeah.
when you've got someone who doesn't know how to sit up yet living in your house.
Oh, he's freaking hopeless, man. He can't even support his own head yet. Can't even lift his own head.
What a jerk.
What are you expecting for an 8-day-old?
Much more, apparently.
Look what you did, you little jerk. Okay.
Well, by the way, we're streaming this, by the way.
Perfect.
Nice.
Belittling my 8-day-old son. That's great.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. We're good to go. Wait, I should pull up the music. Wait. Stop. It's been a week. And it's been 2. Okay, we're good. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 95. On this week's episode, another 3DS gets announced, Pokemon Go gets another update, a Kickstarter game gets delayed, and we really give up on NX rumors this week. Plus your questions and so much more. Zach, you sleep-deprived bastard, cue the music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is September 14th, 2016. Joining me tonight is, this is the first time in like the past month that we've all been together. It's the foul-mouthed Justin Masson. What's going on, man?
The foul-mouthed Justin. I know, right? Did you hear that email last week about my potty mouth? So,
yeah, man. You're you got a reputation to live up to now.
Apparently, I'm going to be pushing us an E rating on our podcast soon. So, yeah, no, I'm doing all right. But yeah, you are right. It's the first time that we're all back together. The gang, the band is back together. So that's fantastic. And of course, Zach, congratulations and welcome back after your birth of a new small child. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Mom and baby are doing great. And yeah, it's good to be back. It's also the start of the semester, which is like a really weird combination of like, holy crap, there is so much to do and so little time, and trying to make it all figured out. It's nice to be back on the show though. Hearing this music again and hearing the music again is like speaking of
diaper changes.
Speaking of diapers, Jesse Waldeck from VGTribune.com. What's going on, man?
Here I was expecting something involving music, and I was going to make the day the music died joke, but then you just went somewhere else with it altogether.
When my brain is running on this little sleep,
it's very challenging to try to get a joke queued up, and then you change the topic on me, and the joke is irrelevant.
Yeah, you really shouldn't try and queue up a joke. It just naturally flows.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if there's...
The trick is to cue it up and make it sound naturally flowing.
to say, you know what? I really tried to have something ready for you guys. You never serve it up right. Anyways, well, let's head into some news. Yeah, exactly. Right on. Well,
that's a tennis joke.
We're going to do some news now, I promise.
Sure, hit the bumper, would you?
Dirty love.
Here we go. Is there any love other than dirty love? Or did you say 30 love?
You said 30 love.
I said 30 love, continuing my tennis joke.
But the funny part is I heard dirty love as well.
All right. Speaking of dirty love, the news is brought to us, of course, by OneUpBox.com, sending us dirty love every single month in the mail.
What does that even mean?
They won't send you dirty love in the mail, but they'll send you a green box to unbox, full of geeky, cool, exclusive T-shirts as well.
Zach will send you a dirty diaper.
Head over to OneUpBox.com. Use the offer code NintendoDads to get money off your first box. Thank you very much to OneUpBox.com for their sponsorship.
Right on. This is going to be a weird show.
It already is.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a rant. Is that okay? So,
yeah, I think after everything you've gone through for the last couple of weeks, you can rant.
Soapbox enabled.
The rant. You want to bring out the box?
Yeah, here we go. Here it is.
All right, step up on the box.
Okay, so I'm tired of NX rumors.
Mic drop. Rant done.
Done. All right, I'm done. No. Okay, so I'm the person, and here's maybe, I don't know if maybe I'm just a special case, and now because I'm feeling it. Everybody else's feelings on this matter are somehow now validated, and like I understand now. But I'm always the person who's like, oh well, it's going to come when it's going to come, and they're going to announce it when it feels right, and it's fun to speculate and this and that. And even though there are people who are getting frustrated with it, it's fine. Enough is enough. Like, for hell's sakes, Nintendo.
We've been speculating for 20 months now.
Yeah, it has been. Has it really been 20 months since it was announced?
It was like January 2015 at that investment briefing when it was first mentioned.
Yeah. So Zach, let's take some time to unpack your feelings about this NX. So first, my question is, what's finally made you just kind of give up? What's the tipping point for you, sir?
Admittedly, it might be sleep deprivation and stress from school. That's the combination. It's a potent combination. But I really feel like.
So what's it like to being on the other side of the chair?
But what was it? But what was it this week that finally made you say, you know what? Enough. Hands up. I give up.
Actually, I'll tell you exactly what it was. I saw something online that was, I think it was just today that I saw it. That was, Emily Rogers says the NX will be unveiled in October, and I just about lost it, because Emily Rogers has been saying nonsense for how many months now, and now she's saying, "Oh, you guys know for real, it's going to be October this time, I promise."
And I think the funny thing about that, because I saw that tweet yesterday as well, and I think the way that she revealed that like information or that implication was, it was like a picture of leaves and fall, and she like wrote on an NX on the image, and I was like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
I'm so tired of it. Like, I'm tired of patents. I'm tired of seeing a trademark. Yeah, this was the other one. There was now a patent or a trademark for the new Zelda game, and one of the things that was listed in there was, it was like all of the different categories or keywords that it might be. So it was like video game and role playing, and video game disc was one of them, and one of them was video game cartridge. And headlines abound because there was a video game cartridge mentioned on this thing, which, by the way, there was also something on that listing that said video game disc, but nobody reported on that one. I can't do it anymore, guys. I cannot continue to have...
But the video game disc thing makes sense, because it's going to be a video game disc because it's going to the Wii U, which is using a disc.
Right, but a video game cartridge, I don't know, man. It's like...
So they implied the NX part of it.
It'll be on the 2DS.
I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of this speculation. Just tell us something, because I'm not going to sit here and the only communication from Nintendo is, hey guys, you can go back to Animal Crossing because we are going to pull all your weeds for you when the update goes. That's what Nintendo is saying to us, whereas everybody else is losing their crap because they haven't said anything about the NX. The hype train has peaked, I guess. the hype train for me has peaked and is going downhill, because in the meantime, by the way, Sony has had their event and announced that the PS4 will now be available for $300 instead of whatever it was before, which I think was $400.
$350.
So $350. So now the PS4 is $300, and I'm not very optimistic that Nintendo is going to beat that. They might match it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the NX is $350 when it comes out. And so now Nintendo is coming out late. They've waited so long to actually give us any information and build any hype whatsoever. And now they're just not doing nothing. They're just sitting around doing nothing. And all they continue to say is, we really learned that we need to tell people what the NX is because we didn't tell anybody what the Wii U was, and yet they haven't told us what the NX is. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm so tired of waiting. It's crazy.
So I guess one of the questions I would have, and again, it's not necessarily about what's causing your frustration, because I do think a lack of sleep probably and dirty diapers is probably contributing to it. But I do agree with you, right? Like, I mean, the internet has kind of been, and it feels like it just like every day it's, we mentioned in the pre-show earlier this week, there was a tweet from Kevin Ferreira of G, formerly of G4, I don't know if he still is, who basically kind of implied the NX was going to be released in a couple of days or the next day or whatever. And I think he did it like the GameStop conference that was going on. And basically the internet lost it on him and was like, if this is not real, we are going to have some serious words. And he had to like come out a couple hours later. He's like, I was just trolling. I was just trolling. And I think it's because there's such this appetite for it. And I mean, again, a lot of these people are fans who want Nintendo to do well. So we're piecing through, I always make the analogy of like a beautiful mind, right? We're pulling pieces of information anywhere we can to try and picture what this thing is and have some kind of underdog success for the organization. And we're guilty of it as well. This podcast is absolutely guilty of it, of kind of running that rumor mill and trying to talk about and piece together what it is and get hype on stuff. We talked about it last week of, Miyamoto's in the US for the Apple event. Does this mean he's filming for the Nintendo Direct? Does this mean that there's going to be something coming up soon? So now one of the things that was asked of us, actually, and I'll ask kind of both of you, now that we've got, blood boiling for Zach on this NX issue, Tokyo Game Show is next week. Nick Price of our community asked, do you think we're going to hear anything at Tokyo Game Show about NX possibly? Is that the venue they might release it, or knowing that the Tokyo Game Show is kind of on the horizon, do you think we could see something in the next couple of days? Or how are you guys feeling, obviously from what we want and what will happen, what do you guys think, could this come to fruition?
This is the kind of thing that I think they need to, if they need to tell us several days in advance, for one. Right, like they can't just like walk on stage and be like, well, because what was it that they just went to? And there was something, or maybe it was that
event,
like Gamescom was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, right. Like there's been lots of opportunities, and every time they get up, it's like, oh yeah, and now we're just going to talk about nothing again, because that's what we do, is we get up and talk about nothing. I'm not holding my breath. I'm done. The hype train speculation thing, honestly. Like I just feel like, okay, fine, just tell me when it's over, or tell me when they've announced it, and then I'll pay attention again. That's honest. Like I don't know, it's crazy to me.
TGS, I think TGS is a good place to have it first revealed, publicly available to try out, but that event cannot be its primary reveal. You still have to reveal it globally beforehand.
What if they do like here is the controller, and tune in 2 weeks where we have our full unveiling?
The rumors are the unit is the controller, so
right. So just showing it, unveiling, whatever.
I think if they wanted to show it at TGS, and I hope they do, they need to do a full blown reveal a week before it. Globally, get the word out
and
what this thing is.
And I apologize. Tokyo Game Show actually starts tomorrow.
Does it really?
Okay.
Oh crap!
No, there's no way in hell it's happening.
Yeah, and then if they don't do it, then they shouldn't show it at TGS. So if that's already happening, I thought it was last week, September, or early October. I didn't realize it was like yesterday.
Yeah. So I think there's no way they do it. It's too soon. I think they could tease it. If they were to tease it at Tokyo Game Show, but I feel, when is their next financial thing? Is there a financial thing coming up? Isn't it in October sometime?
Probably, because the end of second fiscal quarter will be end of September.
Yeah. I don't know.
If they're going to do anything at TGS, announce the reveal date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, don't say anything.
Or tease it or something. But
don't even tease it. Just we're done with teasing.
Yeah, I want them to. At this point, I'm becoming skeptical if they're going to do it before Christmas.
That's
bold. Because there's so many things for them that they're trying to push right now, and it's almost like it's kind of weird. Like let's go back to the I wasn't here when you guys talked about the Nintendo Direct. But yes, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out on 3DS. I don't know how much they want to distract. They seem to be very intent on just hey guys, let's focus on the 3DS right now, and that's what our messaging is going to be: is everything 3DS.
Because the focus definitely isn't the Wii U.
Which is interesting, right? Like, even though Mario Party or the Paper Mario is coming out soon, I think we've seen some stuff for that. But
that and Zelda are the only two games we know of.
Yeah, so I think I don't know, they've kind of abandoned the Wii U, and they've, frankly, other than those two games, they've abandoned any attempt to sell that thing, really, right? Like, and so I don't know it, but they do want to get through the winter on the 3DS, and so I wonder if they're thinking it's a very short-sighted decision if that's what they're doing. But right now, that's what it looks like. That and mobile, I guess, and maybe they're focused on this mobile thing with Super Mario Run, and I guess Super Mario Run's the only thing coming out this year, right? The Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing are now sometime
2017.
Q1 2017.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just...
And then Mario Run is only for iOS this year. It'll be coming out in Android sometime early next year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to be excited, guys. I want to be excited about Nintendo, and I'm not right now. It's hard to be excited when there's not much to be excited about. So, I don't know. Am I just bringing everybody else down, or is everybody like? What are your thoughts, Justin? Do you agree? Disagree?
Well, I think that the problem is that we as a society kind of live in this hype train moment for whatever's new and shiny right now, and this new and shiny thing has been on the horizon for a while. And I also think it's one of those things that takes. We are also probably over consumers of the news regarding it. Do you know what I mean? Like we are constantly. Our job as curators of this podcast and of people who share content is to find this and to share it and to answer questions and to ask and we keep up to date on it. So we're probably drinking more from the hose than we should be, right? So I think that becomes exhausting. I also think, we just want information. We're not getting it, right? Like, and I think that becomes challenging. I think we are also rooting for the underdog, right? We want them to do well, so we see opportunity and we see like, hey, you've got to get ahead of this. We see what PlayStation's doing. Like we're kind of being, armchair quarterbacks in relation to what Nintendo needs to do as in a president role, right? So, but I do think it's exhausting, right? Like probably once or twice a day we're either responding to or putting out tweets about the NX in some context. And to Jesse's point, like it's been 20 months and all we have right now is confirmed is just the code name, right? And I think again that also comes back to just being fans. And I think it's also as you see the death of the Wii U on the horizon, you're like, well, what's going to replace that? And there's so much hype around, Breath of the Wild, right? Like the videos are releasing for that. Nintendo's releasing every couple of, every week. There's so much positive energy, I think, in Nintendo's camp right now, but it's kind of like you can just make a couple more steps and I think we're there. But I do see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Before we move on, I have some people from the chat. Ben says, welcome back, Zach.
Thank you, sir.
Anthony said almost everything word for word you said just before you said it, saying that I feel completely exhausted from waiting, and now the rumors that it's going to be announced in October. Sigh.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's just exhausting. I like Nintendo has as the hype train is out of gas, is what it is. So, anyways, yeah. Right on. And then Mike, is this Mikey Dreamer? Is this from today too? Should I buy a new 3DS?
That's from today, but I wasn't going to mention him until we talked about that.
Okay, cool. So
wasn't there a talk about a new 3DS?
That was for the Pokemon. It's a Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I was going to mention it then.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's just go through a couple more quick news stories.
It's called timing.
Animal Crossing pulls your weeds. So when that update comes,
doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah, you pull my weeds. Yeah. So basically, they will a one-time sort of like, come back to your game and you won't have to worry about the weeds. They'll pull all the weeds. So that's nice. Pokemon Go update is out, and they added. I'm sure this is kind of old news by now, a little bit, but there's an update now where you can choose a buddy Pokemon, and depending on your distance, your distance traveled, it will generate candy for that Pokemon. So, so maybe for some of your more rare Pokemon, you can actually generate candy for them that you could then use to evolve.
Or that
depending
Magikarp that needs 400.
Exactly. And I think the Magikarp is one of the ones that's like every kilometer that you travel, it generates a candy, which is pretty slick. So
I put up on my Ivysaur for now, which is a candy every 3 kilometers.
Yeah. And apparently, I was just looking at something just now. Apparently, there's some information about Pokemon Go Plus, which is coming out on the 16th. If you manage to have one of those, it does actually change some of the functionality of the game, which is interesting. So I'll actually quickly go into this for those of you who are trying to decide if you want to get a Pokemon Go Plus or not. I have one on pre-order, should be here on Friday. It says, this is in a recent Reddit topic. A user confirmed that Pokemon Go Plus device not only tracks distance for unhatched eggs, but also tracks the distance for his partnered buddy Pokemon. Of course, having the Go Plus accessory synced to Pokemon Go allows the game to run in the background, even when locked and secured in a pocket, for example.
Ooh, that's pretty
big. That's pretty big, right? It's kind of dumb that it's you have to have Pokemon Go Plus for it to work that way, because it should work that way anyway. Maybe the Apple Watch version will also do that. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. In addition, he confirmed that curious readers at Pokemon Go notifications are displayed on the screen when the smart device running the Pokemon Go app is locked. No fuss, no muss. No need to unlock your phone to view your journal entries. So, in other words, notification on your phone, push the button on the Pokemon Go Plus, catches the Pokemon, done. He says, however, there are a few things Pokemon Go Plus is not capable of. For example, it only throws normal Pokeballs, not Great Balls or Ultra Balls, at a potential rare. Elusive target could prove to be frustrating for some trainers. Further, Pokemon Go does not work with Pokemon attracted by incense. So basically, it's just have this running in the background, and it can distract you every once in a while, and you can maybe try for something. So yeah. Justin, I guess you've already got an Apple Watch, right? That's coming next year.
I do. Yeah. Well, I know the Apple Watch coming before the end of this year.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So around the same time as Super Mario Run?
Yep, exactly. So yeah, I'm excited. As I mentioned before, yeah, because I guess you were on the show for it. I'm excited for it. I wonder if there's going to be a cost at all. It doesn't sound like the Apple Watch does necessarily the same things that the Go dongle does. But maybe I'm wrong as well, because the guy who was showing it off, as I mentioned last week, looked like he had a rough week. He looked pretty disheveled.
You kind of put a face to those blog posts that are like, "You guys, seriously, we're working around the clock. Just leave us alone. Stop pestering us on."
I would imagine the companion app would be free as well.
Yeah, I would think, but I mean.
Isn't that usually how Pokemon Go, how the Apple Watch works, is that it's usually an extension of an app that's already installed on your phone?
Correct. So yeah, so it's just like, the update is available, you click and it installs on your phone. But I just wonder, if it's, this is probably an app that, they could probably charge, like if it did the same functionality as the dongle.
Like an in-app purchase sort of deal?
Yeah, they could, $5 and it activates it. I said before, I'd be fine with that. But if it just kind of is there and it's free and it does the same thing, that's great. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I know it has like a complication where it shows like how many more kilometers for a your egg to hatch or something. So looks interesting.
Could you then add that to your watch face?
Yep. Yeah, they even show that.
So
on
you
the
say,
watch
hey,
face.
you've got an egg, like just any. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then it showed that you can go to like Pokestops and you can hit the Pokestops, and like collect what's there.
Huh. Yeah. I like that. That'll be cool. So, anyways, mine's going to be here on hopefully Friday.
Nice.
And if not, it'll probably be here on Monday. So,
yeah, I have
we
mine.
shall see.
I have mine pre-ordered as well, but Amazon US still says I don't know when it comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, so that's Pokemon Go. Another couple of quick headlines. Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment is the name of the new what is it? It's not is it expansion the right word? Like a DLC update thing?
Free skin?
Free DLC?
Free DLC, yeah. And so it's of course with Spectre Knight, and it's coming out sometime in spring 2017, which is too far away. I need that to come out sooner than that, but spring 2017, look forward to it. Yeah. Are you guys excited for that?
Yeah, when it shows up, I'll be excited for it, but it's too far in the future. And also the challenge is spring 2017. I ain't playing no Shovel Knight. I'm playing some Breath of the Wild, y'all.
I'm still going to be playing. I'm also going to be playing Shovel Knight for sure. Speaking of, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to say speaking of being delayed till 2017, but no, it's actually 2018. Bloodstained, which is this the spiritual successor to Castlevania? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah. As the Kickstarter supporter, I got an email from it this week that said it was delayed until 2018. It was supposed to be scheduled for, I think, tentative was March 2017 was when it was supposed to be launched. So yeah, we're getting a full 1 year delay on that. I think as Marty from Reactor Radio, good friend of the show, mentioned, he's like, now everyone knows if you're a Bloodstained backer, you know the pain of the Mighty Number 9 backers. Mm-hmm. So I was a backer of this. I mentioned to Marty, I said, the challenge of it now is that you're going to be releasing this game in 2018. And if I ordered, you get to select what system you want. And I said Wii U. By that time, my Wii U will be collecting dust.
If it's not turned in and sold,
I won't turn it in. It's too good of a system.
I wonder if they'll let Wii U backers change it to NX.
That's presuming they're going to then code it for NX.
Well, presumably it's easy to port.
Presumably, we were also getting it in 2017. So there's a lot of presumptions get you.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see about that one. That sucks though.
Yeah. Sad face.
Yeah. I think the honeymoon is over for crowdfunding. I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah. Also, Hero was delayed a while ago. Is that what you said, Jesse?
Yeah, that was announced 2 weeks ago, and the day I got that email, we recorded a show, but I was behind on my email, so I didn't see it until after we recorded. And then we forgot to talk about it last week, so I finally squeezed it in this one. So they said it was going to be a 6-week delay, which puts it about mid-November, which, again, puts it in that Pokemon slot. I'll probably still be playing Dragon Quest.
Yeah. I'm also remembering something. I'm trying to pull it up as we kind of wrap up the news here, but I want to find it because it's something, again, kind of going back to Pokemon a little bit. I'll see if I can find this. This always makes good radio when I'm searching through things. But Jesse, did you see this? Where are we? Here's the trailer.
Don't know what this is.
Every generation has a story to tell.
So it's like an anime thing that they're doing on Pokemon. It's a Pokemon web series. You remember what they did with Pokemon Origins?
You kind of glitched there. Say again?
Okay, so you remember what they did with Pokemon Origins?
Yeah, I thought that was a great 4 little episode thing.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing is I think it's 20 short web series episodes called Pokemon Generations, and the trailer is about a minute long. It's on the Pokemon YouTube channel, and they kind of show what looks very similar to Pokemon Origins, except it looks like what they're doing is very short scenes or episodes, like we're talking like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but through all of the generations of Pokemon leading up till now. So we'll have stuff like they show the original, the battle between Red and Blue at the end of Pokemon Red and Blue, right? And then they also show like the 3 legendary beasts at the end, or from Gold and Silver, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, or Suicune, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, they show different scenes that are clearly from all the different generations of Pokemon, and then it's going to be a web series that I believe actually releases the first 2 episodes on this Friday, and they're going to be releasing those presumably leading up to Sun and Moon, which comes out in 9 weeks or something. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I was wondering if you'd seen it, Jesse.
I had not, but this is definitely something I'm interested in looking into.
And they're also actually posting Origins on. They have the first episode of Pokemon Origins on the Pokemon YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen that, it looks like they're going to be releasing those as well. So check those out. Very cool. We also, by the way, this is just more of a personal side note thing, but we actually have. I talked a couple of weeks ago about how we're getting Nick Pokemon Sun, and we need to justify getting it to him before Christmas. And so he's got a chart where every day that he does his chores and does his home reading and all that kind of stuff, then he fills it in, and then we have it figured out so that if he does it like 95% of the time, then he'll get there by launch day. So we'll see how that goes, but so far so good. So anyway, any other thoughts on news and stuff, guys, before we move on to what we've been playing?
Well, I think the other news that we don't want to pass over is that there is a new Nintendo 3DS XL system that's coming out. It's inspired by Pokemon Sun and Moon and arrives in stores on October 28th. So that is before the game is actually released. And this is kind of, I think we saw this actually was displayed for over in Japan several months ago. But it's a sweet it's a black 3DS with some nice kind of white artwork on it that actually shows off both the new legendary Pokemon over the cover of it, and it looks pretty nice actually. Looks pretty swank. So I don't know. That's
you gonna get it?
No, of course not. No, I'm not one to.
Would you use that one if it was like your first one?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm not buying a 3DS for the sake of buying a 3DS. Was I guess why I'm saying no, I wouldn't get it. But I considered buying the small 3DS with Mario 3D Land. Yeah, me too.
I've considered it.
I was in a store in BC last week, and it was like I was in a Shoppers Drug Mart. You know how they have the games behind the counter, and it was right there. And I was like, "Huh, my wife's not with me."
Yeah.
And there's
self-justification if I've never heard it.
And there was this couple of moments of me thinking, I was like, should I could justify it for the show. I'm like, no, walk away.
You're like, does she have access to all my credit card statements? How well can I hide this?
So it is coming out on the 28th of October. It looks really nice. If you guys haven't seen the images, they're on our Facebook
cool.
and Twitter page. It is sweet. If you were like, I need a new 3DS. I don't want that new Galaxy, new Nintendo Galaxy one. This is a really good
Galaxy style.
Looks really sweet actually. And I know that I think the pre-orders. I think it was gone already on pre-orders on Amazon yesterday. It was up and then gone real fast. But they did mention something else in the press release that I kind of want to just run this by you guys, because again, not being a huge Pokemon fan, I just don't really fully understand it. So I'm going to ask you some questions. The press release reads this way: when the game launches on November 18th, fans can also purchase Pokemon Sun and Moon Dual Pack, which includes both games as well as 2 codes that will unlock 100 Pokeballs each. The Dual Pack will be available at selected retails for a suggested price of $79.99.
Okay, you were with me until we got the Pokeballs for
We'll unlock 100 Pokeballs each.
Is that in a steel book or is this something else? Does it say?
So it doesn't say. It just says that in this Pokemon Dual Pack, Sun and Moon Dual Pack game, available on the 18th of November, which includes both games, as well as 2 codes that will unlock 100 Pokeballs each.
I don't that's something. Here's what that says to me. Is that, and maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but that sounds like, up until now, I don't think they've announced in-app purchases at all. But that sounds like the kind of system that would require in-app purchases, or at least permit in-app purchases.
That's the way it sounds like to me too. And I was like, that's not traditionally something that you've had to try and purchase.
No,
Pokeballs,
not at all.
Right?
Not at all. No, you've never been able to. There's never been any in-app purchases for anything other than Pokemon Go. Right. That's the only thing that I can think of that has had in-app purchases for real money. So that has me a little bit like, ooh, I hope that's not actually the case.
Yeah. I said, and this is off this. I'm for those of you where is he reading this? I'm actually on Nintendo's. We have a press release account, and they have announcements that detail all the official press release. So yes, we don't just make those wonderful things up. We actually, copy them.
Okay. I think that's a different bundle than what I pre-ordered from Amazon. I think I mentioned it before a few weeks ago, but Amazon has an exclusive 2-pack Steelbook bundle for $90. I don't think it comes. It doesn't mention that it comes with any codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of
So
course,
that's
then if with Prime you get the 20% off, so it works out to be cheaper than buying 2 games digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, also something to mention about, sorry, we're bouncing around here, but also something to mention about the 3DS. The 3DS does not come preloaded with the game, right? This is just, and this is very typical for when Nintendo does these kind of like game print editions of their 3DSs. We saw this for Majora's Mask.
Especially when they launch them a month before the game's release.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? So if you're thinking like, oh, the game's got to be preloaded, this console's being launched, or this handheld version's being launched a month before the game's released, so it's not on there. So just an awareness of that. But like I said, if you're in the market for a new 3DS, you might want to keep your eyes open for this. It looks pretty slick for sure.
Okay, so now
Nice.
I want to go to Mikey's in the chat. He actually said this before we started recording. He said, should I buy a 3DS now or wait until Super Duper Galaxy Nintendo Extravaganza 3DS?
That is already out, isn't it? The new Galaxy style? New Galaxy style is out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they said they started shipping that week.
I think he was just making fun of the fact that it's stupidly named.
Yeah, I've seen it in stores.
Actually, and one of our good friends in the line chat, Brian, his wife Brian S, his wife picked it up already. There's a picture in our line chat of Brian holding his Majora's Mask copy and his wife holding her Galaxy edition, which looks like it's quite sweet actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Very cool. With that,
Well,
I think
Before we move on, I wanted to ask you something else. We were talking about
Okay.
the Pokemon generations, Pokemon Origins. Have you two paid attention at all to Pokemon X, Y, and Z, which is which the season's almost wrapping up in Japan?
No, I haven't. All
Yeah,
I
of
know
course-
is
of
that
course not.
all I know is something Ash Greninja. That's
Yeah,
that's all.
I started watching it with episode 38, which is with Ash in mid-fight in the finals, and then after that, then it goes into like the big bad team wants to destroy the world with Zygarde, and here's how we're doing it, and blah blah blah. So, yeah, the next episode's 42, and it still hasn't wrapped up yet after the Pokemon League, but it's really good. And my son, who's actually interested, watching these things, once they get English subtitled.
Yeah, I'm sure my son will watch it like
And,
crazy.
and
You-
he
not Netflix.
likes this English subtitle better than the English dub.
Hmm.
Ash's voice is just so cringy in the English. But
Yeah, especially since they replaced the voice actor, it's not great.
so I told him he should go back and watch Origins, but watch the Japanese versions of Origins.
Oh, it's so good, dude. Origins really is good.
And
I really do
he
like it.
hasn't done it yet, but he said he wants to.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Generations. So, all right, let's get into what we've been playing, shall we?
Do it.
All right. So, I'm going to go first this week.
You should.
I
You got
have
lots to talk about.
I got a couple things to talk about. So first off, I have played, there's one that I want to talk about very briefly that's just, it is the update to Hyrule Warriors. So Hyrule Warriors, of course, I picked up the full thing like quite a while ago, where it was, so you get all the DLC for the 3DS version. So Hyrule Warriors Legends. At the new Nintendo Direct, they announced the new update that came out immediately after the Direct, which I totally forgot about. I had kind of forgotten that game was still on my 3DS. So it's cool because they actually have it's all based on the 2 DS Zelda games, and so this one is, so it's Phantom Hourglass, and what's the other one? Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks.
Right, and what they always do is they add items or things like that from those games or characters or what have you into the game. And so in this update, Toon Link got a sand rod, like the sand rod that he has in Link Between Worlds, right? He gets that, and it's cool because it's kind of a combination of like he's throwing around sand cubes, and also every once in a while the train from Spirit Tracks will just appear and plow plow enemies down and stuff, which is cool. And then Toon Zelda is the character that they've added, and she is actually the Toon Zelda from Spirit Tracks, which, spoiler for Spirit Tracks, Zelda dies in the first 10 minutes of that game probably, and she's actually a ghost for the entirety of that game, and she inhabits these huge iron armor suits or whatever. And so you're actually like this huge knight, and every once in a while she'll fly out and attack people and then jump back into the armor, and I really like that. It's pretty fun. So if you are interested in that, you can check that out. You kind of know what you're getting into by now, right? Like it as much as it's cool to see new visual things, it also is more, it's almost like reskins, right? Like it's just more of the same. So if you like that, then that's cool, and it'll give you enough reason to get back into that game for a little bit. I also played Jotun, which the developer provided us a copy, which was awesome. And unfortunately, I wasn't here last week to review it. But man, this game is beautiful, and I really am enjoying. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not as far in as I would have liked because babies and stuff. But having said that, the game is very, so the sort of design is top down, think like 2D Zelda, right? As far as the actual the sort of like top down action adventure game. And so you play as Thora, who is a girl version of Thor, basically, and it's all based on Norse mythology. And by the way, I saw somebody, I can't pull up right now, who on Twitter actually contacted the developer and replied me at the same time, basically clarifying how I've given them crap about Jotun versus Jotun this whole time. I'll see if I can pull it up, because basically what the developer said was, and I'm my brain is tired. So Justin, who's the developer of this game? Do you know? It's
Thunder
Games or something like that.
Thunder Games,
right? Yeah. And they basically replied back saying, actually, yeah, in the original language it is pronounced Jotun, but here, I'll see if I can find it. Basically, yes, you're right, but we didn't want to have to deal with the whole people looking for Jotun, like Yuton, or where are we? Yeah, so
there's
anyway,
a marketing decision.
It was a marketing decision to call it Jotun instead of Jotun, because they didn't think people would figure it out, and they would be confused if they were looking for Jotun, and couldn't find it, so they called it Jotun instead. So, for those of you who are too uneducated to know the real pronunciation of this game, it is Jotun. For me, it is now Jotun. So Jotun is, of course, this Norse mythology sort of place, and you're going from area to area and kind of unlocking runes and defeating bosses. The sound design and the music is absolutely beautiful in this game. It is absolutely the kind of game that you can just sit down, and it's almost just like relaxing, right? Where it's a lot of just they've made this really interesting choice where you'll walk up to some sort of like a statue or something like that, and they're very intentionally slowing the gameplay down in a sort of mellow way, where like you walk up to this statue or this well, right? Or you walk up to this well and it's like this, and you're like, okay, there's something about this well, and it will very slowly zoom out. And once it's gotten zoomed out enough, then all of a sudden, like, this face appears in the well, and this eyeball starts looking at you, and it heals you. And it's like, but it's very slow in how it sort of like gradually zooms out and then activates whatever you're looking at, right? So you're looking at this huge statue of something, but when you're zoomed in, it's not all in the screen at once. And so it zooms out, and it really creates this sense of place and mood that is really, really impressive. So, and in a very restrained way that is really that I really actually like. It's very relaxing in that sense, and there's a lot of atmosphere that goes along with that. Having said that, I have two gripes with the game so far. One is that as far as I can tell, you can't play it on the gamepad. which for a game like this, you would think you would want to play it on the gamepad, or at least be able to play it on the gamepad, but it's not. You can't. And I almost wonder if it's intentional that they don't want to diminish the graphics by doing it this way, or by putting it on the screen. That, I think we've seen in other games, can be a bigger job than you would think. The other thing is the graphics sometimes, especially when you come up against bosses, it's almost like like it was drawn, like really great character design, but for some reason a really big boss was kind of pixelated, like in a weird way, where it was like, oh, did they like draw this image but not big enough, and then they had to increase the size and like it decreased the quality of the image. It was weird. So I've noticed that a few times where the image quality kind of goes down and there's some visual weirdness there, but for the most part, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing until you get to the boss battles. I guess that's the other thing, is the boss battles are uncharacteristically like, it's like you're walking through the wilderness and then all of a sudden there's this huge boss battle and you're like, oh my gosh, suddenly this is a lot more difficult, and it's very heavy on like pattern recognition. Like the boss has a very specific pattern. Once you learn the pattern, then you can beat the boss. But I really liked it, and it doesn't hold your hand too much. It kind of just leaves the atmosphere open and the environment open, and allows you to explore a little bit, which I really liked. It doesn't tell you where to go. It just, the level design itself guides you. So I really liked it. It's pretty good. So that is Jotun or Jotun. If you're searching for it, search for Jotun. So there you go. Finally, Picross 3D round 2. Jesse, you're probably done this game.
I'm not done yet, but
but I've been playing a lot of this too, and it's really fun. It is the perfect evolution of the formula. My only problem is that sometimes I forget that I need to that I try to mark a block as blue and I mark it as orange instead, or vice versa, and it screws me up just because I'm not paying attention. Other than that, it's really, really good. Like the idea of having rounded blocks and solid blocks is just perfect. I just love it. So I think I have something like 70 puzzles solved, something like that.
What level are you playing it on?
Medium. I also have used all the amiibos that I can on it, and they're cool, but they're nothing special. Like they have cool 3D models of Nintendo characters, but then it's like, okay. There weren't as many as I'd hoped either. Like there was Link and Kirby and a few Mario characters and a few Kirby characters, and that was it. So it was weird. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I didn't get a chance to look at my playtime yet. Last week I was at 20 hours already. Probably. Wow. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm between 30 and 35. But
sweet.
I think I'm in book 32-ish.
Okay.
And puzzle high to mid 190s. So I'm almost a puzzle 200.
Wow.
And
there's a lot there too, right? Like it's over 300 puzzles is a lot of puzzle.
Yeah.
And the fact that I am going through it right now on medium means if I finish this, then I can go back and do it on hard. So
yeah, and I'm just playing through everything on hard.
Nice. Right on. Jesse, what else have you been playing, dude?
I was hoping to have Tokyo Mirage Sessions finished by this week. I am not yet finished. I'm really close, though, I think. Last week I said, okay, I know who the big bad is, and the last chapter will be us getting him. And I was partially right. The big bad was the mid-chapter boss. There is now bigger bad that
you should have known.
I should have known. Because
is it like an ultimate form? Maybe don't spoil it, but I feel like in a lot of JRPGs, it's like that like you have the big boss, and then something weird happens, and now it's like some insane mutated version of the final boss or something.
No, actually, we did legitimately defeat who I thought was a big bad, but during the first part of chapter 6, well, the end of chapter 5, we learn that the bad guys are trying to revive this dragon of darkness. So as a counter to that, we want to summon a dragon of light. To do that, we have to put on the Opera of Light. To the 7 characters in our party become characters of this opera. So in order to do that, we have to get the souls of the heroes of ancient past, which are all Fire Emblem characters. In fact, the name of the chapter is Fire Emblem.
Nice.
And that's like the name of the opera. It's Opera of Light, Fire Emblem. And so you go through these 3 trials. The first 2 are you fight 3 enemies, which are basically mirror images of 3 of your characters. So the trope of fighting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you beat those, so 3 at a time, you get the spirits of the ancient heroes, and they're all like, oh, I can feel it, blah, 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 blah. So leaving the last one for you, so your Mirage partner is Chrom, and so the spirit hero that you're trying to get is Marth.
Mm-hmm.
And just as you're about to get to what you think will be fighting Marth to defeat him, to acquire him, then the big bad shows up, steals Marth's soul, and sacrifices himself, which I thought was the big bad. And we defeat him, and then when the smoke clears, everyone's gone. So I am now Marthless, and we're now thinking we can't do this opera, and so they're trying some other wacky ideas now.
Mm.
Of course, now they're saying since they have Marth, they're able to complete their opera. So I'm like, hey, that's no fair. We did all the work, and now you get the reward.
Nice.
So now I'm going through the final Idolosphere, which I think will be to the game end. I'm having a problem with the puzzle elements in this dungeon. I'm gonna have. That's why. So that put a delay in my forward movement. So I'll try to. I don't think I'll get a chance this weekend, but hopefully next weekend I'll be able to finish it off.
Nice. Right on, man. Sorry.
I did buy Ace Attorney 6. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. And I pre-purchased Dragon Quest 7 digitally, so it's sitting in my 3DS waiting for Friday midnight. Well, and so I haven't played that yet, obviously.
Cool.
So I have the next 2 games queued up for whenever I'm done with Picross and Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Mm-hmm. Right on, man. Justin, what have you been playing, dude?
Haven't been playing a whole lot. For those of you that know, I'm on the road this week. But before I left, under the advisement of our good friend and guest last week, Josh Thomas, I played the first couple levels of Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. I picked this up a couple of weeks ago, actually, and just spent about an hour kind of off the first introduction level of kind of you landing at Delfino, and then the first level after that. And I really rather enjoyed it, obviously, with Flood, and getting used to GameCube controllers are a thing. That takes a little bit of getting used to the button layout there, but it was quite a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed that. More to come on that one, obviously. And then on my flight down here, so when I say down here, currently I'm in Boston this week. I played on the flight. I started playing Ocarina of Time on my 3DS.
Nice. Had you not played that before?
I had not played that before. As part of my like play more Zelda as I get to Breath of the Wild, and did the first level. Obviously not a huge spoiler here, but did the first kind of level, the mission, found Zelda at the castle. You kind of get a little bit of the background. And kind of start trucking on after you've kind of met Zelda, and she kind of gives you the quest to really kind of begin, right, what you need to find. You know, it's funny as I last week I sat through and I watched all of Andre from Game Explain's Breath of the Wild analysis. And I was starting to play this game, and you begin to, going back, playing some of these older games, you begin to see the tapestry that Nintendo has created, and this, when we joke about like the where is this in the timeline and how does this all impact, and you can just kind of see, how Breath of the Wild has taken inspiration from some of these games. There are things about it that definitely feel like, from what I've seen on these videos, they're trying to do a little bit of that, more of that in Breath of the Wild, and it was, really, really quite great. And I'm really enjoying Ocarina of Time so far, and we'll continue to play it. But it's really kind of grabbed me for sure.
Cool, very cool. Right on, man. Awesome. Well, with that, let's dive into a little bit of listener mail, shall we?
Sure, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So, listener mail. I have a voicemail here, and yet again, we're having issues with this voicemail. It's not super crackly, or it's not super good quality, but I'm going to play it anyway. It's 38 seconds, and then we'll talk about. You guys might not be able to hear it, but I will tell you what it says on the flip side. Oh, there you go. That's the end. Right on. Right on. Thank you, Brendan, for that. Of course. So basically, I don't know if did you guys hear that at all?
No,
not at all.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Skype. I don't know. Skype. So basically, we have he's saying that he thinks that it's a good idea to have that share button or the share functionality similar to to what the PS4 has. So that you're able to share videos or screenshots or something like that, specifically something like Smash Brothers or Pokken Tournament. I don't know, Justin, would you use a share functionality on the NX?
So I guess the thing, so just so I understand, when we're defining share button, is this that I can basically stream content onto a YouTube channel from my NX?
Yeah, or something like that. Like Smash Brothers kind of already has that. What I was thinking of is a solution to what I see as a problem right now, which is if I want to take a screenshot or a video, like the video is out of the question, but even a screenshot and post it to Miiverse right now, I have to time it really quick and hit the home button and then launch Miiverse and then go over to the Miiverse part where I share screenshots and then share the screenshot, right? And it totally takes you out of the experience. And so if we could streamline that and not, I just want to save a screenshot. I don't want to necessarily have to share it immediately.
Right.
I just want to be able to save those screenshots so that I can share them at my discretion later. So
yeah, I think I'd kind of agree with that. I'd like to be able to do just like really quick, easy screenshots, have really, or excuse me, even video. To kind of grab capture of that and then be able to like very easily after I'm done my gameplay go and grab that video, grab that photos, whatever it is, edit it on the fly, not be like kind of out of the game or post game. I'm out of the experience, so it doesn't feel like it takes me out. But also how I can easily share and post that information, right? So yeah, I'd love that. I think that would be great, and I think that's definitely something that we've always talked about. Nintendo does not do well. Is their ability to share publicly, right? I would love. I make the statement. I mean, I'd love for us to be able to really easily, like, hey, Breath of the Wild is out. Let's hit the share button and we stream it on our YouTube channel, and we're able to watch us play and provide commentary. Right? And I think that'd be fantastic. But I do think Nintendo needs to get better at how they socialize their games and how they share content, because really these players, especially these hardcore game players, are your advocates for your brand as well. So I wish they do that better.
Yeah, totally. Right on.
As I mentioned when David was on a few weeks ago, that I don't have much faith in the share buttons on PS4, or I don't have an understanding of how it works. Is probably more of an issue, and so I'm preferring to use my own technology to take the screenshots and the videos, and I'll probably continue to do so with the NX, presuming that I can HDMI it into my systems.
Well, and that to be fair, that also gives you a lot of functionality that Nintendo or Sony is not likely to put into their own software or their own hardware as well, right? So
yeah, I have more control. I have more power over what they'll let me do in house or in system.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. So let's get through a few of these emails as well. We've got our first one from Chris Price. Says, do you guys think Nintendo will actually make a Badge Arcade Rabbit amiibo based on fan response within the game? What functionality would it have? Surely they wouldn't want to give free plays. Maybe an extra go at the practice catcher once a day. What do you guys think? Do you think would you go for that? Would you go for a Badge Arcade Rabbit fan?
No, and I don't think Nintendo's going to make this based on the response in the game.
No,
I don't think this is so. So here I will say this: I don't think they're going to make it. But let's still play down the question that Chris is asking of like what functionality would it have. I think the functionality it would have is that when you tap it, the game you want to loads really slow, and takes a long time to open, and to a point that you think the game's frozen, but it's not really frozen.
It's just downloading like all the assets.
And then it gives you a lot of annoying dialogue and talk before you can play the game.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I think it would do.
And every once in a while, they'll show a picture of a real rabbit, just because you'll look at your amiibo and it'll actually be a real rabbit, and you'll look back and it'll be the bunny guy again. So, yeah. I think that'd be good functionality.
I don't play Badge Arcade, but if they ever did make this amiibo, I probably would be interested in it because he is an interesting character.
He's pretty weird. Yeah,
it won't entice me to go in to play the game because I know, yes, the pun is here. If I play it, I will fall down that rabbit hole so hard.
Oh, that's bad.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Next up, I'll just read this one too. Or Justin, actually, do you want to read this one by Paul Lloyd?
Sure. Hey guys, I'm going to EGX later on this month. It's my first Gamescom that I've been at, and I am super excited. I've just found out that Yooka-Laylee is getting a worldwide exclusive playable debut there. What was your first Gamescom that you went to, and what were you looking forward to the most? Keep up the good work as always, Paul Lloyd. So first, Paul Lloyd, we are very jealous. You're going to go to EGX and probably play Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah, totally. Justin, what was that game? I honestly, I've been to the Calgary Expo, which isn't really a Gamescom. But then there was the Video Game Championships that we went to. And what was the Friday night something game that they were playing?
The Friday night game something.
No, remember the one? All those kids were sitting there playing it, and it was like the 4-player game.
Oh shoot!
Friday night bullet hell? No,
maybe
Friday night bullet arena.
Yeah, we'll call it that one.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's Friday night bullet arena. Yeah, that's totally what it is. It's still on. I think it's still on Steam Greenlight. It's a really fun game. Me and you even played it, and that was. I think it's a downloadable game for Windows right now. Even you can go to their website. But that was one that we play. That I haven't really been to a lot because we live in Canada, and so that kind of stuff, especially Western Canada, that kind of stuff doesn't come very often, right?
No. No, I mean, I would love to go to a Gamescom or go to something like a PAX West. And I'll be honest, even when we go to the events like the Calgary Expo and stuff, I don't I like geek culture, but I'm not super when I go to that stuff, I'm not really super interested in seeing, oh look, it's the guy from Battlestar Galactica, or check out these anime costumes. I'm rather hey, I'd like to go figure out where the video game portion is and hang out with those folks and see what's going on. I think I think one of the things that Zach and I really enjoyed when we were up at the one in Edmonton was, and to the point that he was making, it's just meeting people who are really passionate about games, seeing the history of games, and then seeing people who are designing games and getting hands-on impressions of stuff. So it's a very cool experience, and of course, developing relationships with these content creators, I think is a pretty cool thing as well. So definitely very jealous, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, let us know how it goes. Absolutely.
And you street pass like crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, now with the new Street Pass update, you can
do your update to 100, Paul, because you're going to be needing that probably.
Do it. Yeah, right on. Guess Game Over Jesse asks, and is this from our line chat?
Yeah, I know this is from chat last week.
Yeah, he says, if a third party was to partner with Nintendo to produce their own Zelda game, which developer would you want to collaborate with Nintendo? X being Minish Cap, Four Swords,
example being.
Swords. Oh, example. Hey, there you go. Being Minish Cap, Four Swords and Four Swords Adventure being created by Capcom, Grezzo creating Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask helping on Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes, and not to forget Hyrule Warriors being a great collaboration. So who would you guys want to collaborate with Nintendo to develop a Zelda game?
Oh.
That's a tough one.
Actually, you know what I want? I want TNT. Is it TNT Games? The people who do all the Lego games? I want a Nintendo Lego game. That's what I want.
Zelda Nintendo Lego game?
Yeah. Well, I think even like a just expand it to all of Nintendo, but like minifig versions of all the Lego characters.
So instead of Justice League or Avengers, just Nintendo.
Yeah, just do Nintendo, right? Just do like all the Nintendo worlds, and so like you know how in like Lego Dimensions, it's got like the little world for like Ghostbusters and this and that. It's just like no, there's like the Mario universe and the Metroid and the Zelda and whatever, all of those. That's what I want.
Lego Captain N.
Happen. Yeah, right? Yes. I want a universe that's just all of the TV stuff. And so like Zelda is like, or like Link is like the excuse me, princess, like that version of him. And I want I don't know what the actor's name was, but the one who does the do the Mario thing. So that's what I want. It's not gonna it's late and I'm sleeping.
It'll be hard getting new voice clips from him though.
Right. Yeah, that's true. He's sadly no longer with us, but
yeah. I think Game Over Jesse that I would want Jules Watson's former company, Renegade Kid. They did some great sprite work and kind of playing with 2D, 3D fields on games like Super Mutant Mudds and Zeo Drifter, and they've got another one coming up called Treasure Knots. And it's this kind of great graphical design. I'd love to see them give them something like that and kind of do like an overhead Zelda, very much kind of in the, Link Between Worlds, Link to the Past kind of storyline. I think they'd be very cool to have to do some work on as well.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
I'd like to see, maybe along the lines of Grezzo's, what they've done is do a remake of Zelda 2.
Wasn't Grezzo though, like they didn't really design anything. They just kind of
No, they didn't. They just took the original design and kind of improved on the models a little bit. It's still the same gameplay. But this would be, going from Zelda 2 into a 3D-ish type of environment would be a
Would you want it
change.
to be like, would you still want it to be side-scrolling, or would you want it to be like 2D or like 2.5D where it's like 3D models but still the same 2D gameplay?
Yeah, 2.5D-ish. Kind of like what they did with Link Between Worlds, where it's kind of a weird top-down angle.
Or like 2.5D, I'm thinking kind of like new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Like 3D models.
Yeah, well, Link Between Worlds is still a 2D game. It's just from a top-down instead of a side view.
Right. It is the X and Y instead of the X and Z. Or, I don't know, whatever.
Right. Well, because Zelda 2 does go back and forth between a top-down map and a side-scrolling map, depending on where you are in the game.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Holy cow, this next email, the last one here.
Before we go there, can I answer the last question? You skipped me on that.
Oh, I did? Okay,
yeah.
Go for it.
So the only GamesCon-ish thing that I've ever done was I went to E3 in 2011. I mentioned that before in the show. What I was looking forward to, of course, was the Wii U reveal. We knew that was coming, but kind of one thing there that I didn't expect to see, and I did spend a lot of time there, is they had this classic video game museum exhibit. They had a whole bunch of coin-op arcades from the 90s or from the 80s, early 90s. They had like Atari 2600s. They had Intellivision systems playable on the floor. And ColecoVisions. They had just a little bit of everything there, completely hands-on. In the background, they had a band playing called The Descendants of Erdrick, which is a Dragon's Quest reference, the original trilogy, and playing video game-ish music, kind of in a rock style, which I enjoyed that take on some of the video game songs. And so, and there I met Keith Robinson from Intellivision Lives, and we talked for a while. It was kind of it was kind of so that was kind of the highlight of my E3 outside of Nintendo stuff.
Sweet, right on, man. Finally, let's get to our last one here. I'll just read this one. It says, "Hey, Nintendo Dads, I just wanted to check in with you. I'm a regular follower, but I have not got to comment and interact with the show for the past couple of months." By the way, who is this here? This is Jacob Rush. Said, "First off, I wanted to say congrats to Zach on having a new little one. My wife and I just had a baby this past Saturday, September 10th. Whoa! Yeah, September 5th was when we had ours. So, Labor Day. Good day to have a baby is Labor Day. But anyways, September 10th. A beautiful little girl and our first baby we get to take home with us. We are truly blessed. I just wanted to say I think you guys get better and better. I was the one who recommended your Donkey Kong Country Retro Rewind. I thought you did a phenomenal job on that episode. I'm your rare/platonic fanatic here. Nintendo is my main fan dedication, of course, but my favorite games from Nintendo's past are DKC and Banjo-Kazooie, etc. Something that has been on my mind since Platonic came into existence was Nintendo and Platonic partnering together to make games just for Nintendo like Rare did back in the day. I feel as though Nintendo has lost a lot of strength in the West, and when they were with Rare, they were pumping out games that were hits left and right in the West. Retro is great, but they only get a game out every couple of years, it seems, and I think
did we lose Zach?
I think we might have. I think we lost Zach.
Okay, I can still hear you guys.
Okay,
oh, really?
Couldn't hear you
Can you hear
for
me?
a while. We can hear you now.
Okay. Pause. Okay. We're back. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways,
Start with retro is great.
what? Hang on.
Retro is great, but
Okay, I'll start there. Retro is great, but they only get a game out every couple of years, and I think Nintendo should buy into Platonic to make them their partners. I believe this would recapture the magic that Nintendo had with Rare back in the past, something they lost when the buyout happened. This would allow Nintendo to have more steady of hit releases focused to sell Western gamers more between Retro and Platonic. Do you think I'm just the king of wishful thinking here, or do you think this would be a good idea, and could it ever happen? I just wanted to hear your thoughts on my idea. I think this makes for a good discussion. Thanks again, Dads. I will be listening with my new little Nintendo gamer. Sincerely, Jacob Rush. So, remind me who Platonic is. Are they
the ukulele people?
Yeah, Platonic is the resurrection of Rare.
Okay, so that makes a lot more sense then. Do I think that Nintendo should buy out Platonic? I think that there is no silver bullet solution to what's going on. I think that'd be cool, but I definitely want to see their stuff on Nintendo consoles, but I don't think that I don't think that's going to solve everything.
But I mean, I think some of the point that Jacob makes here, and he's very much right. Like back in the 90s, back in the N64 days, we talked about this a little bit when we talked about the Donkey Kong Country. Rare, Rare was a studio from the UK that basically Nintendo had no stock, no interest in. They basically, as I recall, purchased about 49% of it and said, like, here you go. And they kind of like spun out development out of that company and said, here, now create us a new IP or our new game using existing IP. And they kind of were creative and fun and came up with Donkey Kong Country, and then obviously Banjo-Kazooie came from that. But in the 90s, Rare became the game that was known for quality. right? Some of the best games ever, especially for the N64, came out of Rare. And I think of, for example, GoldenEye, right? GoldenEye was a smash hit for Rare. So I think Jacob, necessarily them purchasing into Platonics, probably not a bad idea. What I would like to see Nintendo do more of, and I think this is a point you're getting at, is more investment with specific developers. Specifically bring them in-house and say, like, hey, we love the work that you do. We want to make sure your content is on our system. We want to make sure that we can share it out equally, but we'd also like to give you more backing and support for your development here. And I think, we've seen them do that with the indies, but we haven't seen them do that with major, larger studios. Now,
specifically in the West, right?
Specifically
like
in the
Western
West.
developers, pretty much all the Western developers are going to either Microsoft or Sony. They're not going to Nintendo.
Yeah. So I think I would love to see Nintendo make one or two large investments in Western developer kind of larger firms, who would be kind of like, we've got our main ones that we do, but also, by the way, we've got some other, we've got like Retro, for example, who they do a lot of consistent work with. But other ones that they funnel and they support and they kind of foster that growth. I think Platonics would be a great example of it. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And then
do you
Nintendo
think they would be open to that though? I don't know if
or Platonics.
Platonic specifically.
Platonics.
I don't think they're going to be open to it.
But I mean,
I wouldn't want to limit myself. Like Nintendo hasn't, from a more objective point of view, Nintendo hasn't really proven themselves as a good person to put all your chips in one basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what they need to do is they need to go out and they need to basically say, like, hey, Platonic, we want to work really directly with you. We, whatever the funding is, we'd like to basically be first on console, exclusive, and we want to make sure that whatever you're developing for, let's say, a year, whatever your year's quantity work is, 60% of that is content that's first or exclusive to Nintendo, and the other 40%, like they have to kind of make investment, because you're right, like developers now, they don't develop for one system, and they're very often spreading themselves, right? Obviously, and that's to maximize their profit margins as well for the work that they're doing. But I think they need to spend some time with these third parties and invest in them to be able to get that. And again, I think that's why we do see that investment with the indie scene. And I mean, I think specifically Yacht Club Games is a fantastic example of this, right? Nintendo is able to broker with Yacht Club and Shovel Knight, right? Basically exclusivity for Shovel Knight that was first released on the Nintendo, and that was on the Wii U and 3DS, and that was tremendous, right?
I think going along with that, the most recent, to the same scale that something like Retro or like Rare or something like this would be, the most recent example I can think of is Platinum Games. And I think that they do have some sort of, there's like a branch of Platinum that actually interacts really closely with Nintendo, because we had Wonderful 101, we had Bayonetta, and they worked on the new Star Fox game, right?
Yep.
And so I think that is currently that's not a Western developer, but I think that is I don't know if I'm misusing the term, like second party developer, where it's kind of like a hybrid of being in-house and out of house. But the exclusivity is really specific, and I think that those projects, I think, were they definitely, I almost wonder if they benefited Nintendo more than they benefited Platinum, and if that's something that if they're still interested in doing long term. I don't know. But
back in the day, Rare, I would probably consider them second party, because they only put stuff out on Nintendo. I don't remember them doing the other consoles at the time. Where Platinum, I wouldn't say is second party, even though they do have Nintendo exclusive stuff. They aren't exclusively Nintendo. They put out
They put out the
Turtles game. They put out Transformers game that was multi-console.
Yeah, Platinum is almost like this weird sort of situation where they'll either release something exclusive to Nintendo, or their game won't come to Nintendo at all, which is really bizarre.
Right. Anyway, so the thing about Platonic is I don't think they're big enough yet for Nintendo to really be interested. Platonic right now is just a one-game shop. Once
right,
once their game's done, who knows what'll happen next? They may expand and do more games, and they may fizzle. We don't know yet. At least with Rare, when Rare started doing Super Nintendo games, they've been well established. They did a number of NES games as well, like RC Pro-Am and Battletoads.
But the thing I would say about Platonic though is that, like, based on who they currently have in their house working on their games, obviously because there's some spiritual successor-ness to Banjo-Kazooie, we do know there's a pedigree for games that they can produce.
Right.
And the development studio, sure, the only game they have currently right now is Yooka-Laylee under this developer house, but there's talent there, and perhaps this is actually the time to make that acquisition.
And they know how to talk to Nintendo because they've done it before.
Yeah. And they know how to do their job, right? So this is, and before Yooka-Laylee becomes a massive hit, and all of a sudden now they're the hot thing. You kind of maybe they may have a successful enough track record of development that you can make that investment now, and actually reduce how much you may have had to pay for them, if that makes sense.
And that's fair. We just don't want to have the expectation of, Rare put out a game a year. Why the hell aren't you? Well, because we're a smaller studio, fool.
Yeah, you'd have to change those expectations, right? But it also may be scalability of that development team as well to say, like, hey, currently you're doing one a year, we'd like to go to 2 a year, and then inevitably over time, scalability of it becomes more successful and can support that model, right? So it's, and I think it goes back to, Jacob goes back to Zach's statement is there's no silver bullet to solve it right away. Like, and it's a long game that Nintendo has to play to be able to rebuild that. So. And also, while we're here, Jacob, congratulations on your new addition to your family. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Jacob is also actually one of our Patreon supporters, interestingly enough, as well. Yep. And this whole section was brought to you by Patreon.
Yeah, and of course, may you also be sleep deprived. And share. I'm so tired right now, dude. I'm losing steam. Luckily that is the end of our emails at the same time. So so thank you everybody for emailing us. And again, that's brought to us by all of our patrons over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And if you guys want to email us, stay tuned to the end of the show and we'll tell you how. So my voice cracked there too. That was nice. Justin, what do we got as we kind of round out the show here and I cue up our music?
Sure. So we got a couple things. Next week, guys, we're going to be releasing an interview with Drinkbox Studios regarding their game Severed. They'll first be released on our YouTube channel, so head over to YouTube, subscribe to it. So when we release that, you have access to it. It was a good about 20-minute conversation that we got to talk about the game Severed, which, interestingly enough, will be releasing next week on the Nintendo eShop, and that's part of the Indie Summer Jam. So that's game's going to be on sale, and we hope to have feedback and our early impressions of that game coming up soon as well. So that's next week. Next week, also on Wednesday, Derek Bittner from Game Explain will be joining us as our guest in studio. So we're excited to have him on. And then on September 28th, Jason Lapine from Nintendo Enthusiast and Indie Corner is going to be joining us as well. I think it's very timely for Jason to be joining us to discuss kind of where the indie scene is, and obviously Nintendo will be coming off the Indie Jam month of September as well, and I think we're very excited to have him on. He's a fellow Canadian as well. And then in October, guys, episode 100 is in the docket, so it is we're on our way. We've got content that is being created, but if you want us to create more things, or if you got your favorite Nintendo Dad moment, or there's a memory you want to share, or anything, send it in. Episode 100 is going to be a little bit of nasal gazing and kind of celebrating how we got here, which is kind of crazy. But we didn't get here by ourselves. Our community is important to us, so we want your input, your commentary, we want you to be a very important part of this as well. So please, guys, send that information in as well. Retro Rewind, Mega Man 2. Play it because it's awesome. You should do that. So get ready. That in September.
The NES version of that or the Game Boy version of that?
It's the NES version. It's a great question. Someone asked that in our Twitter recently. And
I
also,
the Game Boy version though. Like, can I just play the Game Boy version?
No, it's different. Different.
The first of the game is NES.
Stop being cheap. Stop being so cheap. All right. No, enough. Hey, Capcom last week was having a huge sale. You could have got like Nintendo or Mega Man Legacy for like $9. You could have got all the Mega Man games. So I don't want to hear it. Enough. It's not like you were busy last week.
It's not like I was. Anyway,
couple shout outs and things we want to direct your attention to. Guys, go over to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, go over there, do us a huge favor, hit subscribe. We've got some really cool content we've been putting out in the last about 6 weeks. We've been doing these new kind of animated shorts called the Nintendo News System that we've been working with Gary Gray from the Broken Block YouTube channel. He's been doing some animations for us. It's really cool. And we're starting a new kind of series called Nintendo Redubs, where we take Nintendo content. Right now there's Breath of the Wild teaser trailers and we redub them. I do some voiceover work. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's just a fun little thing. Come on over, subscribe, check it out, share. It's always fun. Also, guys, big shout out to Adam Leonard from Megadance for our Nintendo commissioned artwork. He always does amazing, fantastic art for us. If you haven't, go over to his Facebook page, check it out. He recently also did an art series on Super Mario. He did one on Zelda, and he actually is doing one right now on Animal Crossing, and they're all super cool. So you need to check that out for sure. And that's kind of it for it.
Right on. Well, of course, with 1 minute left of this music to go, that's okay. We've got, if you want to check us out on all the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, you can do that at Nintendo Dads. Email us nintendodads@gmail.com. Go to Twitch or YouTube, look for Nintendo Dads. Call in and leave us a voicemail, 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for our music throughout the show, as well as to both Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard for our amazing artwork. And, of course, if you want to change the world, go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and you can go to VG Tribune, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and, of course, VGTribune.com. For me, for Jesse, and for Justin, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.